Hello again, everybody. My name's Paddy. You'll know me on the forum as Paddy Stardust. I'm joined once again by Coffee, who you'll know on the forum as Coffee Jesus. And this is episode 3 of the Polynauts Soulcast. There we go.
Yes, indeed. We really haven't nailed that title down at all yet, have we?
It's better.
Yeah.
The Polynauts Soulcast is definitely snappier.
Yeah.
I like it, and it'll do for now. And I've kind of re-tagged everything as well, so it'll do.
And I am eager to find out what's going on, because it seems within our friendship since Polygon launched on The Verge, we've chatted quite a lot on the forums and stuff. And now you're kind of you've come to my back garden, so to speak. Not a euphemism for bottoms. But it seems like this sort of wall of silence. And even though I was playing the game and thinking, right, well, I'll start up a new character, same sort of hunter this is hunter that you started as.
I did, correct.
Yeah, and I'll get that sorted, and then this wall of silence.
Well, yeah, but that's
means
why.
It means I am excited to do these conversations.
I know. That's why I maintain the wall
behind your wall of silence, hiding in your paddling pool of shush. I can see you swimming underneath. I know you're in there somewhere.
Behind a wall of quiet time.
Paddling pool of shush is better.
It definitely is better.
So tell tales. What have you been up to?
Right. Okay.
Last time, Stardust, oh my Stardust.
Since last time, where was I last time? Remind me, because things have happened.
I think. There was the great story of you versus the Black Knight, where he cholleyed after you, and you practically pooed your trousers. Yes, Natalie, trousers.
Trousers.
And it was a really good story. It made me laugh, and I've thought about it sort of quite a bit since. And especially the fact that when you got up that ladder, you were kind of like, oh my god, and then all of a sudden it was, I can drop on you and get you, and then the Black Knight just when you did drop and miss, the Black Knight just twatted you on, and then walked away as if you were naught.
Yeah,
as if you were a bit of crust from a thrown away sandwich.
It's like he looked at me and he asked me, look at my face, am I even bothered? And he walked off.
Patrick, he didn't even look at you.
He literally, the second his sword had swung, he'd span around, was walking away. He didn't even see if it hit me, he just walked away.
Yeah. All of that was forgotten.
And I believe I was going for the Taurus Demon at the time, wasn't I?
Yes, you were.
I believe I felt right. Okay, so since our last meeting, Taurus Demon is down.
Outstanding. How did you get on with it?
I had a couple more runs of crushing failure, trying to take him on the bridge on his own terms, which was the mistake. The trick I needed to do was to remember the tutorial and jump on the silly bugger's head.
Yep.
And I worked it out eventually what I was supposed to do. And then when I actually got the idea down, it only took maybe 2 more attempts because I kind of got caught I got caught in a bit of wall, like on the 3rd head stomp.
But doesn't this to cut in briefly? Doesn't this show that the game gives you all the training that you need to get past something?
Oh yeah.
Doesn't underline it.
No,
it lets
you have to remember. You have to be. Oh yeah, I remember when it told me how to do that.
But that's one of the possibles. I mean, I've seen people that have just rolled out of the way and twatted its legs, and I've seen all manner of things go down. And obviously,
that wasn't happening for me.
I've done quite a few summons where it's a little easy because the Taurus gets distracted by whoever's hitting last.
Yeah.
So I've sort of pitched him with magic from a distance while somebody else is battering his kneecaps off.
Taurus tennis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
he went down. I switched out to the most damaging weapon that I currently had at the time, which I think was an axe.
Mm-hmm.
And I just jumped off, stabbed him in the head with an axe, which was fun. Then realised, he's not dead. Had to kind of roll around his legs a few times, flee back up the ladder, rinse and repeat, essentially. But I made sure the final blow, I was on the floor, stood next to him for the final blow. It feels more legit than jumping on his head 4 times. I thought I'd at least give him the honour of a man's death.
And how did it feel, sort of, when he finally died?
Well, I was pretty happy. It was good. I mean, it's not taken, compared to some of the things that have stumbled me, it's not taken that long considering. Once you work out the trick, it was quite easy. There are a couple of things in the last time. I think it was... oh, Christ, what was it? There was like a small trio of men down a ladder that kept getting me. I just wasn't paying attention enough, and they'd firebomb you, and you'd get kind of stun locked, and you'd be all over. Whereas the Taurus Demon was relatively straightforward once you've got the idea down. It's just that kind of those 2 minutes of panic, getting back up the ladder, and then jumping on his head again. But apart from that, it was quite easy. You know, he went down pretty easily, and I toddled straight on to the undead parish.
Fantastic.
I thought, right, wind in the sails. Let's move on. Made my way up towards it. Came out the top and saw the dragon, or the drake, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And swiftly got roasted.
Yeah.
Then I tried again and got roasted again. Then I remembered I could sprint, and then I didn't get roasted. And I got to the sort of there's a little sort of safety cubby hole halfway along with a little ladder going down. And
on the just on the right hand side where you run down the stairs a little bit. And
that's right, yeah. So I just snaked in there enough, and I think there's a shortcut you can unlock at the bottom of that, which I went and did.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to do that god awful run.
On the run itself, were you like, oh god, oh god, oh god,
yep.
oh god?
Yep. And then I kind of, but after doing it, after getting safe, I looked around and realised there was a whole other area that I'd not been to at the back, which is where you meet Solaire, I believe. So yes. I kind of went the long way and went all the way around again because I didn't want to run down that god-awful sort of bridge of death. Much like the one in Demon Souls in level 1-2 with the dragon that just turns up and goes, LOL, bombing run, every 10 seconds. So I went all the way around just to be safe, went and met Solaire, said hello, as you do. Then I cracked on properly. Getting past that dragon took a while. I had a few problems getting past that dragon. I didn't know what to do against it. I thought, right, I've got a shield. I did go pick up a sturdier shield as well, which you mentioned. I think Saber Swinger mentioned it as well in the comments as well, which I'd already done by that point. But thank you anyway.
Is that the heater shield?
Yeah, the little heater shield. And it's good because it can still do parries, which still makes me feel like an absolute dude when they hit.
Well, it's got sort of I think 100% damage reduction or stability, something like that. But it is the lightest shield of the lot.
And it's what I want out of a shield, 100%. That's the number that I'm interested in at the moment. So yeah, got that. I sort of went. There's the way under the bridge, isn't there? Where you can.
Yeah. You fight the two skeletons and then the
skeletons,
the rats.
Couple of rats, and kind of filtered my way through, and I kind of reached a stopping point. I got to there's a kind of a pig.
Oh yeah, the armored boar.
Yeah, you can get all the way to the pig without going past the dragon. So I kind of went all the way to the pig. I think I beat him in one attempt.
Cool.
One very, very panicky, very running away kind of attempt. Because I found a couple of soul signs on the floor. Not soul signs, sorry, the messages that were like, one of them said weak to fire, one of them said attack the rear, neither of which seemed to work. I was attacking the rear and it was doing no different than attacking from the front. So I was kind of just running around in circles trying not to get stomped by a giant boar. And I realised that he was big. And the passage that I'd got to him through was small. So when I was in trouble, I ran back to the small passage. He chased me a bit, sort of looked at the passage and thought, nah, turned around and started trotting off. So I kind of just walked up behind him, stab, 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 and just sort of ran back and forwards until he was dead. A bit cheap, but I got past it. And Dark Souls is hard, so I don't mind cheating a little bit. You know, so I got past that, cleared that area out of people, found a mysterious basement key or mystery key, which I then spent half an hour trying to find out where it went. I think I eventually found a place for it. I can't remember where it was now.
Was it the a door near Solaire, which had a massive ladder near it, which took you down to the lower undead burg?
The Snake Eater ladder, yes.
Yeah, it's sad that I know this, and even sadder because when I was talking to Sean the other day, and I was playing in his game, I was talking about armor, and I was like, well, a really good sort of all round armor is the Elite Knight armor, which I believe is I think 42 damage and 11.7 weight, and I was like, oh my god, is this true? Is this true? And we brought it up, and I think it was 39 damage, but it was 11.7 in weight, and I was like, that is just stupidly nerdy. That of all the important things that I could plug into my brain, all the diseases that I could be curing, I store weight and damage from bloody Dark Souls armor. As a little aside with the
weight is important.
As a little aside with the Armored Boar as well, I was watching the Matt Lee's No Pants Man playthrough the other day, and he did something with the Armored Boar where he chucked. I can't think of the name of it. It's the thing that attracts enemies. There's an equivalent
the skull thing.
Yeah, he chucked that into the bonfire, and the boar just walked straight into the bonfire and set itself on fire. So I was like, why didn't I think to do that?
That's so clever.
Yeah.
That's like when I heard of I think it was A. Johnson from the Polygon forums when he taught me how he beat the Vanguard Demon on level 4-1 by just standing out of range and just pelting it with magic. It's why didn't I think of that?
I did that, yeah.
I took him toe to toe with my damn spear, and it was as you've all seen, it was harrowing.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was screaming at the telly. I was like,
poke him in the butt. Yeah. I cracked through. I made some progress into the parish, as you do. Noticed I was getting a bit trolleyed by those. They're like knights with like red capes.
Yeah, the Boulder Knights. Yeah.
Yeah, the first one of those I met, he walked all over me to the point where I thought he might have been a black knight. Sorry.
And he does run at you from the off. He sees you from the back of the church, and he's like,
there ain't no messing. He just like, what's up? And just goes for you. So yeah, I went down almost immediately against him because I wasn't ready. I did and dead. So I kind of panicked a bit. And then I remembered about this thing called the Drake Sword.
Yeah.
Which is the one you get by shooting the Drake on the bridge.
Yeah,
in the tail about 20 times, isn't it? It's a few times. So I decided, stuff that for a game of soldiers, and I went and did that.
I remember this from the PSN message when I said how you're getting on, and you just put Drake Sword. Yep. Lol. Like it is the butter knife. It's like like butter.
It is an absolute monster beast for the kind of place you can get it, for the small amount of distance in the game where you can get it. And I already had the stats to use it as well. I was like, damn right. I'd upgraded my strength and my dex. So I was like, 200 damage straight off. I'll take that.
As Justin McElroy said, it's to Rustic. It's a sword that's way too good for you at that level.
Yeah, but I don't care.
No, it's true. The game sort of gives you something that is a game changer at that point.
Definitely. I mean, I don't think I've unequipped it since I found it.
There's a rule of thumb there, which I will tell you to carry through for the rest of the game, that if it's got a tail, hack it off.
Yes.
Because almost all of like the gargoyles and the dragons and stuff will have something really rather fruity for chopping off the tail. And in my playthrough the other day, I beat Black Dragon Calamite in the new content and chopped off its tail and got something like the Meridian Sword or something like that. But the R2 effect. It slams down on the ground and then just everything bursts into black fire.
Oh!
I was like, "Oh, sweet Christmas! What's your name? What kind of music do you like? Do you like cakes?
Move in with me.
Do you want to come round? Do you want to see a movie?" It's just like,
I've noticed you around. I find you very attractive.
Yeah, I've never looked at a sword in that way before, but oh my, the way you catch the light, the way you catch my eyes, that flame thing you do. Ooh.
Hello, is it me you're looking for? So I got my Drake Sword, potted on through, got past the Drake on the bridge as well, with possibly the biggest skin of my teeth moment that I've had so far.
Did you run past him or did you kill him?
Ran past.
I was going to say, because I've not managed to kill him.
I noticed the pattern because I came out of, as we said before, the little bit with the little staircase that leads down that's safe, and there is a similar looking kind of cubby hole immediately opposite on the bridge.
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of came out and I ran across to sort of see, right, I'll taunt him to do a flame. I'll see how quick he does them. You know, sort of testing him out a bit. So I waited for flame and I sort of popped out again. And I sort of seen if I could time it. And I sort of heard a noise, and then I noticed his face about a foot from me. I didn't realise he gets off of that kind of gate. I didn't realise he walks down the bridge. So I died.
Did you pant it?
I absolutely cacked my pants, and yeah, he got me before I got safe. I was like, "What?" I didn't expect him to be there because I was kind of looking at the wall at the time, kind of trying to work out the flame distance, and I just turned the camera around, and he was already there.
I can only imagine the comedy look on your face when you screamed at the telly, and perhaps Laura in the background jumped about 18 feet.
It was definitely a holy Christmas moment.
Ah.
So yeah, I died quite quickly on that. So the next attempt, I thought, right, so I think it was 2 flames, and then he comes at you.
Yeah.
So I ran across, he kind of flamed the bridge a couple of times from where he was, and I popped out, and I noticed him start to move. I was like, right, that's it. And I just sprinted at him, like, for the gate behind him. I just ran, and I ran, and I ran. And he landed on the bridge, slightly in front of, like, his back feet were in front of me. I kept running. A kind of a curtain of flame just erupted behind him somehow. I think he just flamed out from every orifice. The flame got me and took off, I'm going to say 95% of my...
Had you got the blue tearstone ring on at this
point?
No. Because I think that in a similar way to the... I think it's something like the rat's ring in Demon Souls, that when you get to a staggeringly low amount of health, I think it buffs you a little bit.
Yeah. No, I didn't have anything. I had the little tiny beings ring on that I got for my gift, which may very well have been the thing that saved me.
It was the tiny bit. It
was literally the tiniest sliver of health. I could barely see my health bar by the time I rolled into the parish properly. It
was the skin of your teeth
literally
that survived.
It was literally the skin of my teeth. And I found the bonfire. I was like, just click the button. Which was glorious. It was wonderful. And I felt happy. I was like, I've never have to go there again. Brilliant. So then I started exploring the parish. I found a little area off to one side with a couple of the wretch guys that just sort of stand there and look at you. Just kind of weird, but kind of nice.
Is that the one sort of out looking? There's like a little bit jutting out, and
there's a broken statue. Yeah, it's like a broken statue piled up, and there's a few of them just sort of stood there. It's like, oh, that's kind of weird, but kind of nice.
The broken statue is actually quite important.
Oh, I didn't look at it too hard.
that's the monument for Solaire's Sunlight Covenant. And basically, when you do a successful summon, you get a Sunlight Medal, and eventually, if you go up to that monument and you offer the Sunlight Medals, you'll join the Sunbro Covenant, which makes it easier to sort of summon.
Yeah.
But I think after 10 of the Sunlight Medals, you get Lightning Spear.
Oh, I remember you saying about this.
After 20, you get Great Lightning Spear, and it's a really good miracle to use. So that's one reason to one incentive to get you summoning, I guess.
And go back there, yeah. So yeah, from then on, I kind of made my way through the parish. Okay, I fought those guys with the red capes, as you know. Trotted on through, doing quite well actually. To be fair, I got to the main cathedral bit because it's quite a big cathedral. I think you need to aim at, and I went the back way, just by choice. You know, I'll go that way.
With the sort of 3. Of the little guards outside.
Yeah, 3 little guards just around the outside. There's like an outside bit where you can kind of run around like a nice little bridge, which was a nice little run. Made my way inside this cathedral by the side door.
Did you get the Night Shield, by the way?
Night Shield.
It's a red and blue shield, and it's just if you're going down that bridge as if you're walking away from the cathedral.
Yeah.
You've got the Red Knight on the bridge, and then you've got one of those guys that really doesn't like to drop his shield at all.
Yeah.
Except to throw massive twatting spear chucks at you. Then you go across to the right, and to your right again, there's another one of the shield guys. But if you go to your left, and then left again, there's another one of the Boulder Knights. But behind him is the Knight Shield, which is slightly heavier than the Heat Shield, but it's got it can hold itself together a little bit more before it breaks, but it's a good shield to have. That's the one that I've currently got upgraded.
I will look for that. But yeah, I went in the back of the door, and then by probably I think it was luck.
This is starting to become a theme.
Yeah, by complete fluke, didn't get hit by the giant guy with the massive hammer and the giant shield stood right next to the door. He's like glows blue or something.
Yeah.
It must have been complete utter fluke.
Because
I saw it
not see him at all. Or...
I saw it whack down behind me and I just pooed myself. Started hitting the roll button as hard as I could.
Roll.
Literally, like, oh my god! Drop bananas on the floor and fall over them repeatedly. Panicked, sort of whirled the camera around, got a better look at him. Reminded me of the Tower Knight, actually, from Demon Souls, in that kind of hiding behind a giant, great sodding shield and stomping you, but obviously not as tall, which was nice, you know. Woo! Short guy. But I beat him in one go, somehow.
Superb.
Yeah, just by careful use of just rolling, like Limp Bizkit would do, just rolling.
I was thinking of like, keep those wagons rolling.
Yeah, that one too. We call it the rawhide strategy. Just stay behind him with
Seems reasonable.
By the medium of rolling. So I proceeded to clear out the cathedral from the back. So kind of went behind. Did not see another blue guy at the top with lightning.
Oh yeah, the
arrow guy. Yeah, so you're walking back through the cathedral. You think, right, brilliant, I've sorted it out, and then just this blue magical spear just hits you in the face.
Yep.
Which prompted more panicking. More, where did that come from? But again, I think I've been amazingly lucky. He fell off of his little perch.
Oh right,
at the top.
I've seen that before.
He landed right next to me. I was like, okay.
What sort of weapon were you sporting at this point?
I had the Drake sword at this point.
Still the Drake sword, yeah?
I didn't take it off once I got it. And then, okay, he's right there. R1! Lots of R1! It went down pretty quickly, actually. Was
it as Matt Lees called it, muscle memory? Where it wasn't even a conscious thought, it was just...
I looked up and once the mist had faded, everything was dead. It was the red mist takes hold. So yeah, it got rid of him. Made my way then up the cathedral to the next level up. Noticed the elevator and decided to leave it. I worked out what it did later, but I noticed it and I left it for now. Headed on up. Got massively surprised by the room full of wretches. And for people who don't know what they are, who are listening, basically wretches are their very basic weak enemy. They're like a zombie.
Like the ones from 1-1 in Demon Souls.
Yeah.
They even do that kind of spazzing out, sort of massive flailing knife swing.
Yeah, the kind of the 4 or 5 knife stab and then sort of stand there looking a bit knackered.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't. There's a room which are basically full of those guys. There's about 10 or 12 of them.
Yeah.
And I just walked in, saw what was in front of me, and again, you know, rawhided it, rolled back out again, and worked out a strategy that worked really well, really quickly.
I'm wondering if this is the same strategy as I did, where you lead them to the arch just in front of the room and then try and twat about 4 of them at the same time.
Sort of. I was leading to the arch. What I was doing is I was hugging the left wall so that when I swung my sword, it wasn't clanging off the wall next to me. So I had a perfect swipe, and they were having problems hitting me. And it was great.
I sort of I rock a spear most of the time, and that's when I did the R2 and did sort of a massive spear swipe and sort of took out about 4 or 5 of them. But you've got to watch them. You know the same bit that the priest fell down.
Yeah.
You've got to watch. Sometimes one of them will one or two of them will fall down there, and then we'll run across the church and back up the stairs and come in behind you. And when that first happened, I was like, whoa!
Where did you come from? You're not supposed to be there.
It's just bizarre, but even it's really funny if you know to look out for it as well. And you just see one of them pegging it across the bottom of the church as if like, I'm going to really sod you up.
Yeah, that hasn't happened to me yet, but now I'm panicking for when it will happen.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, got rid of those guys, headed on up, and completely obliviously walked into the next boss fight.
Oh, right, so you actually took on the gargoyles.
Yeah, completely not realising that Fog Gate usually means boss.
You really were running on empty at this point.
I had one Estus left.
Heart, sir.
I had one Estus left. I had one chunk of health left, and that was it. And I sort of potted in, and I was like, oh, a cutscene. The thing is, because it doesn't quite start immediately, you've got to walk forward about 10 feet for it to trick in.
At that point, did you just think it was sort of opening up to another little area?
Oh no, I had no aspersions. I knew it was a boss. Because you look around and you think, right, the fog gate's now behind me and won't let me through again. There's gargoyles all over the place. I remember demon souls. And thought, right, well, there's only one. There's no time like the present. Pushed on in. Of course, one of them came to life. Woohoo! What a surprise. I was actually doing all right against him. I got his tail off on the first attempt.
Superb. So you got the gargoyle tail axe?
Just by running behind him and twatting him. I wasn't trying to do it. I was just trying to stay behind because behind is always
a great weapon, though.
Yeah. I had a quick play with it later. It's like, it bends. That's fun.
The R2's not great, but the main swing's pretty nifty.
It's a bit slow for my taste, but it is fun.
Also, when you do go, because it inoculates you a little bit against poison. You'll see that when you equip it, like 3 bars come up and the poison starts dropping. It's pretty decent if you're using it in a swamp or against sort of poison enemies.
Yeah, like a preventative weapon.
Yeah.
I like it. So yeah, it was doing all right, and then the second one appeared, and yeah, then immediately over. Because he's a fireball spewing bastard.
It's true.
And again, it's one of those things. Once you're stun locked, you're kind of stuffed.
I
wasn't really prepared either. So
the trick within that battle is to use the 2 sides of the roof against the fire gargoyle.
Yeah,
because it'll breathe the fire, but most of the time it won't go over the other side of the roof. So you can normally nip behind and nobble it. But my next question is: Did you go back and enact round 2?
Over the next series of about 8 attempts. I experimented with the gear a bit. I tried taking off my armour so I could roll faster and stay out the way, because blocking wasn't doing much. I thought I'd focus on rolling more. Took some of my armour off. I experimented with the gear setup a little bit, as you do, sort of swap this out for that and see what happens.
Did you try sort of leaning into an armour set that gave you more protection against fire?
I actually didn't have anything that gave me protection against fire at that point.
Okay.
I'm still rocking fairly basic kit at this point.
Yeah.
I think I only had the leather armour and the stuff I picked up off of the hollows. So it was not really ideal. So I just kind of played it by ear and sort of took what looked best, which is the leather armour that you start with.
I like the leather armour. The leather armour is really good.
I like it. So yeah, I kind of experimented, and every time I was fighting them, I was getting my souls back every time, but then dying almost immediately afterwards. So I had about 12,000 souls sitting up there at one point.
But making a bit of progress every time.
Sort of. Some runs were better than others, definitely. And I thought, I know, that bit over there, at the other end of the arena, looks like it's got kind of like an alleyway you can kind of stand in. Thought, I'll try that, and I ran over there, and all that accomplished was getting stuck. Because I thought, right, I'll stand in here, and they can't hit me, and I'll be able to sort of pop out, hit them, and get back. All that actually happened is they both stood right by the entrance. One bellowed fire, and one swung his axe whenever I got within 5 feet of them. So that was a stupid strategy. And it got to a point where I died and I wasn't able to get my souls back, and it was like 12,000 down the pan, which I was a bit bummed out about. But I'd had practice. So I kind of put it down for the day, thought, right, I need to go away, breathe, come back to it tomorrow.
Did you think about it all through that time that you were away?
Oh, yeah, I thought about strategy. I thought about a lot of it. And by that point, I'd worked out that the elevator in the parish is a quick shortcut back to the Firelink Shrine. So I was respawning at Firelink every time. So it wasn't so bad. I didn't have to go through the whole level every time.
Also, I mean, Firelink is the first bonfire that gives you 10 Estus. It's the first one that's automatically kindled for 2. So you once again, you've made a huge amount of progress with the game, but the game's rewarded you again. It's given you that shortcut.
I've found a lot of them actually since the last time we talked. I found a lot of shortcuts, and I love it because I can kind of potter about. But yeah, I used the shortcut at the back to go back up to the gargoyles. Tried them again, and I thought, right, okay, so it's not working. It wasn't working. My strategy was sort of shield and sword. It wasn't really working. Thought, right, what else can I do? And I kind of swapped out a couple of weapons. Like I tried using an axe instead, and that didn't work. I had a spear by that point, and that didn't work either. So I thought, right, let's look at this Drake sword again, 'cause it's the strongest weapon I've got by a mile. So I thought, right, we'll stick with that, and we'll work with what we've got. And I had a look at the little flavour text. Which you do, the stats. And it said, unleashes a special power when wielded two-handed. And I'm thinking, let's try that. So I, dumped the shield, dumped my bow, just wielded the sword two-handed.
Wow.
And trolleyed them.
That is bravado, my friend. I'm double impressed.
Yeah, I literally dropped everything except my armour and the sword, and it wasn't even a very defensive run with too much rolling. It was literally run behind them, twat like a bastard.
Were you Estusing like a fool?
No, I didn't even Estus.
Really?
They barely even hit me. I was just running behind the first one, and I kind of had the first one done 10 seconds after the second one had landed.
Fantastic.
It was just furious all-out assault seemed to work better than kind of canny defense.
And how did you feel at the end of it again?
I was so happy.
But you kept on coming back and determined for that.
Yeah.
I mean that there is a sort of another option with regards to turning human. If you go back there, and even if nobody's laid a summon sign down, the game will give you Solaire to come in and battle them, and Solaire sort of takes a little bit of attention off you. So it does help, but I'm double impressed that not only you took them out on your own, but you did so with such blatant disregard for your own life at a certain point.
Well, by that point, it had no value. I was like, I'm gonna die. Let's have some fun with it. And so it turns out in this particular instance, for already the first time in my entire Souls history, all-out attack was the best strategy. Ignore defense. Blocking is for women. Time to hit with big sword, but I am man. And when I popped him, I was over the moon. I was so happy. Popped up the little stairs, rang the bell, met the miracle guy, and thought, yeah, I'm good at this. Totted back down and went and saved up at the Firelink Shrine and went and had a stiff drink.
Did you ring the bell?
I did ring the bell. Yeah, I didn't forget to ring the bell. I rang the bell and I was like, yep. Halfway there.
You know that in the game when you hear a bell ringing, it's actually someone in another game that's managed to get there.
Oh, is that what that is?
That's exactly what it is.
That's cool. I heard that today.
It's someone in another game sort of getting to that point. So yeah. I just think that's a really neat little touch, because once you know that, even if you're stuck in an area before there, if you're stuck with the Boulder Knights, or if you can hear that bell in the distance, it's kind of like it's kind of like a little chime of hope. Like, I'm not completely up against it. This is attainable. This is achievable,
possible,
and I'll crack on. But I just think it's a really, really fabulous touch.
Yeah, and you'll be very impressed as well, because today I did more. Because I was away at a stag do at the weekend, so I kind of had about a weekend off from it, to drink and paintball and get wounded, which was fun.
Withdrawal symptoms still?
A little bit. I think
coming back to the game, like twitching, Laura's like, "Are you all right?" And you're just like, "Put on."
Well, the worst part is, because we're recording these podcasts, and I want to keep stuff fresh. I don't want to get too far ahead, otherwise the podcast will go on for 3 hours. I don't want to get too far ahead, so I'm trying to sort of limit how far I go before we do it. So I was like, I want to play some more, but you're not there to do a podcast. And the scheduling. It's like I want to keep to a nice schedule, sort of once a week if we can.
Yeah.
But it's like I've done it. I want to do more and I can't. So I decided to potter around a bit as you do, sort of revisit some old areas. Went back to the Undead Burg, sort of furked around, found all the secrets that I could, unlocked a bunch of shortcuts, discovered the lower bit of the Undead Burg today.
I'm wondering if I know what's coming.
I definitely got jumped on by a bunch of flamey dudes.
Okay, yeah.
Because there's the bit you sort of go down, there's fires and there's some dogs. They look like dogs or rat.
Yeah, they're kind of like pig dog things.
Wolf rat things. Yeah, they jumped on me. Did all right with that. Got through them.
How did you get on with the assassins?
Assassins, I did all right on.
Cool.
Somehow. There's someone had left a handy sign saying imminent attack. I was like, okay. And then heard a bang.
I think it's really impressive when they do that leap onto your shoulders and then slit your throat. It's an amazing sort of thing to see.
Did that happen? That didn't happen to me.
Have you not seen it? They do kind of like how they do all that flicking around. If you get too close, they'll grab onto your shoulders, leap behind, so they're kind of straddling you back like a rucksack.
Yeah.
And slit your throat.
Kind of like Black Widow from the Avengers movie.
I can't really remember that.
Death by inner thigh.
Oh, yeah.
She's one of those kind of fighters. But yeah, I did all right with the assassins, and then I found there's a sorcerer I think who's been held captive, and I've got his gear. I found the black leather gear, which I've now put on, which is way better. I love it. Really like
the sorcerer's boots are really good. I'd massively recommend them.
Okay.
Because the weight is only 1.0.
Oh.
So I think they're the lightest trousers, Natalie.
Trousers.
In the game. So even when I'm rocking sort of heavier armor on top, the sorcerer's boots are always the thing that I'll balance things out with. Just simply because of how light they are.
They just give you that extra edge.
Yeah, they just balance out the weight really well.
Okay. Yeah, what else happened? I got jumped on by about 4 flamey gits, which was bad because I've seen Sean do that. I've seen him walk into the exact same bit and have the exact same thing happen to him, and I took it as well. I was like, oh, okay, right, there's a flame guy here. I'll stab him. And 3 more appeared behind, and dead seconds. I didn't respect it. So yeah, I thought, right, okay, I'll come back to that later. I've got my gear out of there, the black leather armor, which if it's anything like Demon Souls, I thought, well, I'm going to put that on because I loved it.
Yeah, it's good in Demon Souls.
I like it in this as well. Yeah, I've upgraded it a couple of times. Well, I found a blacksmith. I've also I'll try and be quick now because we're already at like 40 minutes.
No, go for it, mate.
I've done loads. Yeah, I went to the graveyard where the skeletons are, where Frushtick had problems. The ones right by Firelink Shrine, and cleaned the whole area out in one go.
Good man. The big guys are fantastic when you first see them because you're like, oh, there's more skeleton. Oh, Christ. Yeah.
To paint the picture, you potter in and you see sort of bones on the floor and there's items around. So you see an item, think, oh, I'll go for the item. So you start walking towards the little glowing blue blob, and then you hear sort of that sort of clatter, 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 and a couple of skeleton knights get up. You're like, okay, right, great. So you deal with the skeleton knights, and they're a bit awkward, but you get rid of them. Pick up your item.
As a little aside for that area of something that you might not have found yet, you know where the lift is between Firelink Shrine and the chapel in Undead Parish?
Yeah.
If you drop down the hole of whichever side's not got the lift on, it will take you to a little area where there's about 3 or 4 chests.
Yep, already done it.
Oh, you've done that.
Got ahead, saw that, and thought, I wonder. And popped down, and got all the goodies, which was nice. I was expecting a nasty surprise, but it never came. Popped down, got all the goodies out of there, which was tasty. I'll take 3 goodies. Cleaned out the graveyard. As I say, when you're walking through, you kind of see another shiny, another couple of skeletons get up, so you fight the skeletons. You see another one, another couple of skeletons get up. You think, right, this is pretty. I can do this. So you walk towards your next shiny, and then sort of larger bones start getting up, and you look up. And it's twice as tall as you, with a giant, great cleaver sword-looking thing. It starts doing the things he does the things that the gold guys from Demon Souls did, where he kind of grabs the sword, one end in each hand, and just kind of chops downward without you. And it was touch and go, but I beat both of the ones that I found. Picked up, got a few things, cut the shields. There's a Zweihander, which I know you've talked about quite a bit.
It's a decent sword if you get the if you upgrade the lightning path on it. I think in particular, it's pretty bitchin'.
Well, I'm impressed at how big it is. I quickly see what it's like. It's like, oh my god, it's bigger than me.
I love that aspect of when you're not quite strong enough to carry it, and it genuinely that swing. It seems like you're a little child trying to swing it with them kind of like, oh bugger,
I can do it. Oh my back. So I got all those goodies. Was quite happy with myself. I thought, yeah, brilliant. Went and immediately put it all back in the box. Because
did you get on with you said you visited Santa? Yeah, the blacksmith.
Oh, I found the blacksmith guy that's in New Londo ruins, I think.
Okay, yeah.
First place is the dark place, and there's lots of wretches standing around that don't attack you.
And he will sell you some rather nice magic, sir.
Yes, I went down, I spoke to him, I kind of did some business, and then before moving on, I thought, no, I'm going to go back. I thought, right, I want to, I don't want to get too far ahead, so I went back. Then, like, way later, like literally about an hour ago, I found Santa.
Cool.
Just by checking a side passage that I'd not seen before. I was like, oh, there's someone down here.
Ting 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 ting.
Yeah, and there's a little side passage off. Then I looked down and there's a giant thing at the end. I thought, right, sod that. Ran away and saved up for the day. But the last thing that I did, which you'll also be quite impressed about, is I officially dropped sign.
Cool.
I went up to the undead parish because I'd had quite a bit of experience with it by that point, and I quite fancied having another pop at the gargoyles. I was like, F you, I'm going to have you again. Cool. So I tried it in a couple of places, dropped it down, didn't get a bite, as you do, just because, I was doing it at like 3 PM, to be fair, so I don't think there's many people around. But yeah, after a few goes, someone did call me in, and I'm sure they're on their New Game Plus, because those beasties were tougher than before, a lot tougher.
I think it scales the battle as to how many people are in there as well.
Does it? Oh, okay.
I heard it mentioned about one of the baddies a little bit later on with the I think it's the Four Kings who are a sod of a battle. Griffin McElroy knows this very, very well. But you can bring an NPC into the battle with you as well. Yeah. And I think it scales it higher if the NPC is there. But it might even do that sort of with regular summons as well. Yeah, just to even the score a little bit, which is cool.
Because the wretches were taking more than one hit to kill. I was like, that ain't right. I was punking these guys in one shot before, and they're taking more than one. We didn't get all the way to the boss though. The host disconnected, kind of like I think there was a connection problem halfway up, so we kind of pumped out. But it was still nice, to run around with a random stranger. Help.
The bonfire in Undead Burg is really good for that. If you're having a run at Taurus.
I did try that actually. I did try pop. That's where I first attempted it. I kind of popped my sign outside, waited around for about 5-10 minutes, didn't really get a bite, so I sort of gave up. Normally, I suppose it depends what time of day you go on, doesn't it?
Normally, if you lay down your soul sign, I'd say wait about 30 seconds to a minute, and then lay it down again and keep doing that.
Oh, okay. Sort of refresh it and ping it.
Because it won't. I don't think it automatically appears for everybody. Like Sean and I were in the Painted World of Ariamis, which is one of the greatest levels in the game, and it took us a little while for a soul sign to sort of come on through. So it's just a case of sort of keep laying it down until someone sort of nabs it, really. So
goes, hello.
Yeah, because rather than it being sort of dedicated servers like Demon Souls, I think it leaps between computers. Sorry, computers. What am I on about? It's on about 80. It leaps between computers.
It leaps between them Nintendo boxes.
It's the electronic mouse that takes a bit of electronic wool between the two boxes. But yeah, just keep doing that if you don't get any joy.
Pop it and close it, and pop it and close it, and
yeah, give it about 30 seconds a time. But
okay, I literally dropped it and stood there for like 5 minutes.
Well, like I say, I mean, if you
I stood there for 5 minutes experimenting with gestures.
Well, if you get to an area where I can jump in and we're sort of at a similar level, we can pitch in as bros.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm about level 25-ish at this point.
I've mine because I haven't decided sort of quite what I'm doing on the character I've set up for your game. So I got through, and obviously I've played it before and stuff, but I got through and beat the gargoyles on level 4.
Oof.
So I'm still soul level 4 at the moment. So and I've got quite a bit of souls, but
Big clutch. You're not sure where to put them.
well, I'd say in the meantime, if you have got souls, rather than upgrading your levels, throw it all into upgrading your armor.
Yeah.
Spend it on Titanite shards with Santa, because that's absolutely your best bet, because it's essentially making yourself tougher without costing. As the levels cost more and more, the more you sort of upgrade your actual soul level.
Yeah. Whereas this is a more easy way of getting stronger without spending 80,000 souls a pop.
Just throw it into your shield and make sure you're up to +5 with a shield. Do as much as you can with sort of your armor and stuff, and you're ahead of the game for anything that's thrown at you. Plus, if you are going human and sort of bringing other people in, it means that whatever comes through and invades you is going to be a bit more on your level.
Yeah. Just because you got that happiness of defense, shall we say?
So at this point, how do you feel in comparison between Demon Souls and Dark Souls? How are you? Do you see it as an improvement or an a sort of curiosity, or really sort of quite different from Demon Souls that they've actually done?
Yeah,
with the sequel.
I would say so far it's definitely a different game. You can tell that it was you can tell exactly that it is a sequel, even though it's not technically a sequel, but it clearly is a sequel.
I still think the two games are more apples and oranges than people really give them credit for. And it's like, I know Saber's got the feature on the Polygon forums at the moment, but really are like there's similarities there, but they're massively different games.
I found a few things. The inventory system is somehow worse in Dark. I don't like the bottomless box system.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It's just too big.
It's too much faff. And where are the Scottish people?
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you're all right. You come back alive.
Come back alive.
Not business, bedness.
I need your business.
Yeah.
So I've noticed that I didn't quite like the inventory management quite as much. It's definitely more. What's the word I'm looking for? Because it's open world, I find myself sort of second guessing myself as to which area to try next. It's like, oh, I could go down there, but I could go down there, and I could go down there, and I've got about 5 different passages that I've not gone down. That I'm sort of trying to work out which one to go for first, and it's more my problem than the game's. It's that I've got a lot of options and I'm not sure where to start. It's like, do I play with this toy, or do I play with that toy, or do I play with the Power Ranger over there? It's a toy box.
It's something that I really haven't come to appreciate until recently. Just how smoothly the game loads in the background to make sure that everything's. There's no loading screens particularly, other than if you're jumping into someone else's game, or you're getting ready for a boss fight, and moreover the loading screens that show a little cutscene. But I think
you get in and it's game on.
Yeah, it's very impressive that there's no breaks in the action like that.
Very smooth. And I've liked that. I've liked that it's been sort of one big connected world. I only just noticed the bloody crow as well at Firelink Shrine. Scared the crap out of me. I was like, oh my god, it's a demon. Oh wait, it's just a crow. That was fun. But I'm liking that you've got more options to kind of choose from. You can kind of, whereas Demons gives you loads of room to experiment. You've got like 5 different levels you can pick at the very start, and you can kind of pick your own path through them. Whereas I think Dark, you can pick your own path, but at the same kind of point, it's more structured. For example, I'm having troubles making my point made of what I'm trying to say. remember my problems with King Alant?
Yeah.
How I got stuck on him for the longest time, and then went and did some other levels, and they were absolute cakewalk. And I feel like Dark Souls is probably going to push me through kind of the bosses almost in a sort of order. They're going to get harder as I go. They're not going to get hard. Then an absolutely piss easy one, and then a hard one. I feel like it's going to flow better.
It's it once again sort of rolls the dice, and it depends. It depends how you answer the question that it throws forth, because some of that could be the look as to whom you bring in for a boss battle. Sometimes it's figuring out the strategy. I mean, the next boss that I presume you're going to do will be the Capra Demon in the lower Undead Burg, the fog gate that's down there.
Okay,
that's a tough battle.
I was thinking we might bro up the next level we do, because we've been putting it off, and we should do some broop.
Yeah.
So so next at some point this week, as soon as you can. I don't know why I'm saying this. As soon as you can find time to play Dark Souls, as if it's a problem for you, as if it's a thing that would require you to kind of I've got a busy week.
Oh yeah, how will I fit Dark Souls into it? And I am off next week anyway. So
even better. So I figured we'll have a pop at a level or two together, maybe in the bro op, and see how that goes.
Yeah, and we can. I think this time, rather than just sort of trying to wing it as we did on Demon Souls, we can jump on either G Plus or Skype and have a chatteroony as we
absolutely, because so we're not limited to 6 gestures, even though one of them is the come at me bro one that I've got now.
Yeah,
sort of walking forward, arms out. Is there anyone else?
My favourite one, which I was really introduced to by someone that that summoned me, was there was one time this guy just didn't seem to be doing anything. And I didn't click on until really afterwards as to what was happening. And it was the point down gesture. And he walked over to the bonfire and pointed down at it. And the bonfire was out, which meant that somebody had already invaded his game before I'd come into it. So he was sort of gesticulating to me. And I've used that quite a few times when I've jumped into other people's games and say they've wanted people for a boss fight. They've pulled me in. But are looking for someone else, and I've ran towards where I know an NPC will be, and then pointed down at the floor, or done the beckon one's quite good as well if they're just staying still.
Yeah.
But I think there's a responsibility if you are pulled into someone else's game, not to just run away and just twat things merrily. It's to lead them around the level and to show them, to show them where the secrets are, and just move at their pace, but to be courteous. And,
back them up and help them. Because you're offering your services to them. They're the ones that are asking for their help. So you need to, step up to the plate and be a son bro.
But even when I've started another game and someone is leading me through a level, even though I know where the things are, I always appreciate when someone takes time out to do that.
Sort of run around a point,
They're not all in it for the souls they're going to get or for themselves. They're genuinely trying to show you all the magic in the world and to make sure that you're going to get to the same stage as them.
Yeah.
Which is once again, it's like the bowing. I just think it's a wonderful courtesy.
It's polite and it's delightful.
Yeah.
Politeful.
Etiquette, my boy.
Yes, that's the word. Etiquette. Delightful. I suppose we'll wrap it up on that then.
Yeah.
We've been nattering for almost an hour now, which is.
I will add though that I'm now contributing to plusxp.com.
I saw that.
And thank you. And my submission piece was predictably on Dark Souls.
Really?
But it's a piece that my heart's all over. And it goes up on the site, I think, on Wednesday. So if you check out plusxp.com, and even better if you leave a comment at the bottom, I'll be made up if we got a few folks from Polygon jumping in and leaving comments on there. But it's a piece that I'm really chuffed with, and it's it hopefully articulates just what the game means to me, and also how it relates to even kind of my growing up and things that I'd forgotten that I loved, little touchstones which it's set me racing back towards. So if everybody jumps over there and has a go up, I'd be really really honoured.
Ah, we shall. Give us a link when it's up, and we shall endeavour.
Do. Yeah, well, hopefully, I'll link that tomorrow. But otherwise, sort of when.
Well, saying that, by the time this podcast's up, you might have already done it. So.
Yeah.
So thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thank you very much. Hope it's been entertaining. It's been I've enjoyed the chat from here and sort of finding out how Pad's gotten on and stuff. But yes, bro up ahead for next time, and definitely. I shall level up like a beast now. To get to what level are you at? 20?
Let's say 25.
Yeah. And
go from there. It might be 27 or something, but it's definitely 25 at least.
Cool. I shall get a level and.
Huzzah! Next time, what's the place called?
Hey?
What's the new place we're going called?
I don't know yet. We'll figure it out.
There's either the place with the Capra Demon or there's the dark place with the lots of the wretches that stand about. What's that called?
Don't go down there yet. Do not go down there yet.
No?
Go to New Londo Ruins yet. No, that's a bit of a beast. We can either go to the Lower Undead and sort of take on Capra.
Yeah.
Or we can go past Santa, go past the Lightning Demon and into the forest, which might be a better idea because the boss down there is insanely beatable.
What's his name?
That's the Moonlight Butterfly.
No sleep till butterfly.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, okay, that's our plan then. Capra Demon and a butterfly. Yeah, thanks everyone for listening again. I hope you had fun. I've had fun recounting the tale of.
I've had fun listening too.
Of the too much Dark Souls that I've played since the last one. As again, my name was Paddy. His name was Coffee. And we shall see you next week.
Goodbye now.
Roll credits.